It's me. I would tell the word button slipping the stress.
Hey, PC Smoking, how's it hanging? Y'all done yet? Okay. How's it hanging? What is up, everybody? It's Tin Hat Tuesday. Whew. Oh, I needed more sleep. Don't look at the eyes. Okay, I'm over it. Insecurities turned off. Okay, let me get my notes so I can see what I'm talking about. Gotta see what I'm talking about. Gotta see what I'm talking about. Alright, I'll quit. Sorry. Anyway, we're gonna have a very short stream today, and of course, as you can already tell, it is extremely late. But I have a good reason. I got the smoking hooked on transmog. Oh yeah. So now we've got some stuff to go solo, well, duo together. Fun times, fun times. Gonna be. I hope, fun times. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes what I think is gonna be fun times turns out not fun times. But coming back, another Tin Hat Tuesday with a few more wacky theories, just muddled musings, wandering whimsies, things, stuff. Delicious Dr. Pepper. Okay, so theory number one is Fallout mole miners. Now, the wiki says that they're human. I at first really questioned that, but I mean they've got they've got some reasoning behind it. Uh, but they have lines. That's one of the things though. They have let's see, get the full list of idle lines. Need to keep digging. We'll find it soon. Uh, the green men blind as all the rest in the tunnels. The blue suits just want to tear them to pieces. And they got a lot of like, I'll peel off your skin, snap every bone in your body, stuff like that. But you'll fucking pay for that. And taunt lines are things like line the tunnels with your bones, break every fucking bone you have. Let's kill this motherfucker. Like they're because they're so muffled, they can be this graphic, and because you can't actually tell that you can tell it's speech, but you can't tell what it's saying. So, anyway, so we know that they are. It's says trapped in their suits, stuck in their suits. What is it called? Yeah, trapped within their deteriorating mining suits. Why and how are they trapped? Is it because and that's the thing, like when you look at them in game, their suits appear to fit, right? Like and if their body's mutated because they've got these like tucked up arms and the hunched over and everything, if their shit was made for human bodies, then it wouldn't still fit at all. And so I'm guessing I don't know if it was made for the shape they are now, then why are they trapped in it? Why can't they take it off? And if it wasn't, then why didn't it like rip off or whatever? It just doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't look like it fits at all. Um, so despite their suffering, almost all their cognition and human-like behavior remains. Uh, but the thing is, a couple of things stick out to me. Again, there's the trapped in their suits thing gets me. We see that they have other mutations Like they have, they can be, darn it, I think I passed it. They can be scorched. They can be, like all the different variants that other things have, they can have. So if it was just a mutation, then it seems like they wouldn't have the same mutations. They'd have different ones. Something else would happen. We also, of course, have Purveyor Murmga, which I just found out was a girl. That was news to me. But anyway, so here's my thing. One, we got blue suits. We know that they were being used by Hornwright to mine. And my question is, we don't, it's not a question. Is Hornwright, how do you put this, a corrupt company, or they are. Like you do the Hornwright HQ stuff, you know good and well. They will do anything. So, we also know that humans were being mutated before the bombs dropped. So that's how we got super mutants. But who else thinks possibly Hornwright could have been mutating people in a different way? I don't think mole miners were the way they are because of the bombs. I think mole miners are the way that they are because of something Hornwright did, and that's why they want to kill the blue suits. And then I'm guessing the green men could be super mutants, which they also could have been trying to use to mine, but you don't really see super mutants in mines. So I have to wonder if maybe the green men were a different mutation that Hornwright tried, or if green men refers to green as in, it could be green as in there were people trying to save the mole miners against Hornwright. We don't really hear anything about like a clean earth movement in Fallout, but it's possible such a thing could have happened. Or it could be that it was, again, a different mutation. It could be something else that went down into the mines that was also blind. But something about the way they say it, blind like everything else in the dark. I'm always going to aliens when it comes to Fallout. Like everything, the green men, blind as all the rest, and in the tunnels. So, they're saying it's super mutants. They also say blue suits are Fallout 76 residents, Vault 76 residents. But I don't think so. I think it's referring to, I think there's a good chance, because I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I hear blue suit, I think like business person. I do realize blue suit would easily be a vault person. But then again, if you look at like vault dwellers and stuff, most of them, other than the dead NPCs, most of them have shed the blue suit or put other stuff over it. So I just don't think that's what they would see. It says the thing that it's saying is the Huntersville super mutants. Basically, it was an early super mutant. I still don't think so. I still think that this is all something related to Hornwright. So, that's my theory. Next, let's go to some more wowish type things. So, I'm sure most people who are remotely interested in Blizzard or WoW or anything like that knows that Mike Morhaime, former, big kahuna for Blizzard, he retired, and now he has started his own publisher and 2 studios. All his own money. And has made statements regarding, it basically implies regret on selling out Blizzard. Not back in the day, like getting in bed with ActiBliz, Activision, Vivendi, all that nonsense, and not having control. So, his new studios, and also some other studios from other former WoW leadership or Blizzard leadership have been basically vacuuming Blizzard employees, the old guard Blizzard employees especially. They are just. So one has to wonder, will they make the one true WoW killer? But then that begs the question, in that context, is WoW even still alive? Because let's face it, like, I mean, yeah, it's still going strong. It's still a big game. But it doesn't have anything near the numbers. And as much as I think Shadowlands will be a good expansion, or at least an okay expansion, I don't think at this point, I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think it's going to be the next Legion. I don't think it's going to be the next Burning Crusade. I don't think it's going to be the next Wrath. Just depending on how you value the expansions, which ones you think are good. But let's say we don't think it's going to be a WoD. I don't think it's going to be a BFA. I don't think it's going to be an expansion that has some elements that are just so freaking terrible that people walk away. I'm a little concerned that it could be WoD-like in some ways. I'm worried about lack of content that's not raid content, but remains to be seen. I haven't played it. I don't have the beta, so like grain of salt this freaking big, okay? But yeah, that's where I'm at on that. I very excited, but also very skeptical on the Mike Morhaime thing. I do think he's liable to put out some good games, but I don't know if he's going back into the MMO stuff. I don't know that he would even want to go back into MMO stuff, because then you have the constant development needs, the constant deadline needs, just the whereas if you make a standalone game, I mean, yeah, you still have to maintain it, but you don't have that push to keep sending out expansion packs. Sticking with the WoW theme, I don't know if everybody knows this out in the great wider world, but World of Warcraft recently did some server connections, which is not the first time they've done them. They've done them many times. Some servers are just too darn small, and it's not a true merger, but it connects them to where they behave as if they are one, even though you still log on to your original server, and you can make other characters on the other servers that are connected, and they can join the same guilds and all that stuff. Well, anyway, they recently did some server connections, and the server, Khadgar, had some interesting things occur. Did not go as planned. Some characters were de-leveled. All of everything was rolled back to a specific point in time in the Mists of Pandaria expansion. They went from level 120 to level 90. I think, is it 85 or 90? 90. And it wasn't just one person. This was many people, and some people had multiple copies. They had like the 120 copy and the 90 copy, and it was a mess because of names, because they couldn't exist with the same name on the same server. It was just. But this to me tells me something about World of Warcraft, something that I have suspected, I have known, and Blizzard has said no back in the past. It was an especially strong argument they used against not wanting to do Classic, and that was that once they move on, once they've moved past a point, they don't save copies, that we can't go back in time beyond like a day or something. Like, we can't roll stuff back. We can't, we threw out the old world when we made Kata, and then trying to say, oh, well, we had to rebuild the whole thing from scratch. We had to work so hard, guys. Bullshit. Anyone who has done any sort of programming or web dev or fucking anything, and I'm not talking on a professional level, I'm talking about like, you had what was the Yahoo GeoCities or GeoSites or whatever. You had one of those back in the day. You make changes, you save what you have in a separate spot before you start, and then you keep saving it. You do not throw that shit away, because someday you could fuck something up so badly that you need to roll way back in time. Like, something you didn't even know was wrong in the last 4 iterations is suddenly very fucking wrong, and you need to go 6 iterations back. You keep that shit so you can do that. So you cannot tell me that Blizzard did not still have the files on that. And this clearly shows at some point, and for some, and my theory is that they saved a save point in WoW, a revision point is what I would call it, in WoW before they started changing the character models. So that would have been the end of MoP. So that would make perfect sense why if something went horribly wrong, it would fail safe to that, because that is still the original skeletons, the original almost everything. That's where they didn't fuck with numbers before that point, really. So no squishes of any sort. So I think it makes the most sense that they do have a revision point in MoP to go back without squishing this, squishing that, tearing up skeletons and changing animations. And it is, to me, I do think end of MoP would have been like the purest point. Not the pure, like the latest pure point for WoW. So it makes perfect sense to me that that is why that's where they rubber banded back to. But I do find it extremely interesting that we have now seen a connection go horrifically wrong, and not in just the things don't work way, but like people's shit got fucked with way. I find that very interesting. But they are fixing it. Like, everybody's 120s still exist. It just whatever trigger tripped that fired the oh crap back in time button. Something tripped the tripwire, and they went back in time. But they can fix it. They are fixing it. I don't think it's completely fixed now. It's taking them a while, but they're working on it. But yeah, that to me was exciting because it proved a theory that I had for years and years and years. Even though I personally wasn't one of the people that was pushing for Classic. Classic was, like, it's a fun side thing for me. And I am excited to have it now. But back in the day when people would push for it, I'd just be like, well, I'd like for them to have what they want, but it doesn't really matter to me. But every time Blizzard would trot out that, oh, well, we threw that away. We don't have that anymore. I was just like, okay, now you lying. Now I know you lying. That's not nice. Bad Blizzard. Okay, moving on. My last one that I've got for right now is coming back to the Microsoft buying, not specifically Bethesda, but, they are now part of the umbrella that is above Bethesda. And rumor has it that they are actually planning to push for changes within the Fallout universe. Specifically, what everyone had hoped that they would do, and that is push for upgraded engine. It also sounds like they're wanting to restore more of the series in like a New Vegas 2, which sounds cool. Well, I mean, I started with 76, so I don't really know all of the past ones, but I would be down to play more Fallout series, Fallout universe stuff. But here's where I come in starting questioning. So we have most of the destinations seems like they've been within the US. I'm wondering if maybe we could start to see Fallout expand globally. They've got there's just a lot of places that I think could be really interesting. Maybe not even as a standalone game, but even a Fallout game where you have restored some form of far travel where you can get around the world and are clearing, following some sort of breadcrumbs. Sort of a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, but in Fallout. Or just specifically these areas. So, a good one that I think would be cool is there's a lot of neat areas in South Africa. And the thing that really piqued my interest is the largest gold mine in the world. You got gold, you got underground stuff for miners, you got, it's just, I could see it. Another one, the Ryugyong Hotel, North Korea. Humongous, unfinished, crazy building. in a very, shall we say, nuke volatile part of the world. Could be interesting. And also, this one, I'm sure everybody who's ever played a game like Fallout is like, they should put it at my house. I'm no different. So I'm in northeastern Oklahoma, and I think a Fallout Tulsa would be insane. Like, come on, we've got the big evil corporations. You got the oil and natural gas companies, and then we've got the Mid America Industrial Park, which is like an hour away from Tulsa. Uh, if something hit that area, because you've got a quite a large fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia plant, very big boom. Very, 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 very big boom. And then, plus, I mean, I know in Fallout series they tend to kind of mask. There's not so much racial tension as, like, species tension almost, with the different mutations. But with Tulsa's racial history, they could do, like, you could have North Tulsa being its own complete section of just, like, even more insane Scorched than regular Scorched. Uh, or something else. I'm just saying. But then you've already got Wendigos pulling from Native American, but since this is all, uh, this is in, like, well, since the Supreme Court has ruled it, we are once again into our territory, basically. But, yeah, I mean, you've got tons of multiple Native American cultures that you can pull different monsters and stuff from, and uh, we've got the edge of the Ozarks, so you've got the heavily forested areas, and then you've got the edges of the sandstone and prairie type. So there's a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's plenty of environmental diversity. There's definitely just as much as there is in the current Appalachia area pack. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot that could be done with it. I think it would be very intriguing. Uh, they tend to go. They've gone to all the big cities. Girls. They've gone for big cities, and stuff. And Appalachia is a little more rural, which is kind of nice. And it would still fall like this way. They could do kind of half and half. If you went Tulsa and northeast, you would get both the very rural areas and very, well, not very urban. Tulsa's still not huge, but urban and rural areas. That's all I'm trying to say. Just saying. Like, we got. Oh, hang on. Oh, nice. I'm glad to see you sub back. I hated the previous Scourge invasion. But they've changed it, so it's not like mandatory, I guess you could say. So I think that's gonna be an improvement. That way people can play it if they want to play it, but it's not going to take over the entirety of WoW like it did before. Anybody who I don't know anybody who fully embraced it for its complete duration, that one, plays a lot, and two, it has any moral fiber whatsoever. Because there was just, it was boring. Like, the people are like, oh, it's so exciting. They probably logged on for like 2 hours and then logged back off. And they had nothing else they cared about doing. So anybody who was like desperately trying to get a tune to max to main switch was screwed. That was not, no, I was not a fan. Even most everybody that I knew, there was some that liked it at first, but by the time they cut it off, everybody was done. You could not play at all. Anyway, I have an appointment in about 10 minutes, so I'm going to have to for this Tin Hat Tuesday. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that people continue to enjoy this series, because I'm having a lot of fun trying to come up with theories on a weekly basis, so we'll see. But anyway, please heart me, because I heart you, and let me get my thing before I go.